Is this like a new era?
I don't know when this started, bro. When did this start? We used to have the 500 milligram one. Who started this 200? All right, so we got some questions here. So Plitch Fit says, I'm 6'1", 220 pounds, 15% body fat average, 32 years old, started training to gain muscle and cycle and to gain muscle and cycle. Started training to gain muscle and cycle at 30. All right, so he's 6'1". He's 32 years old. He started cycling at 30. He was put on HRT at 25 because he used to use opioids, so he doesn't care about being shut down. His following cycle is a kickstart to getting back in the gym after the lockdown. And he said, last training I ran 300 test, 300 prop, 300 trennies. Now he's going to run 500 test in Anthate, 200 test prop, 300 primo, it's real, 400 trennies, 15 milligrams Superdrol pre-workout for the first 4 weeks. So,
I like that cycle.
Why prop instead? Do you like to mix the esters at the same time?
Yeah, because he said as a kickstart because obviously he's probably PRT.
Sorry, I got it. Oh, it's a kickstart. Okay, I got it. Okay, so he wants it to be working quickly.
Yeah, and like combining those esters, I've always had really good results doing that. And that's why I know you said you're not a fan of Sustanon, and not a lot of people are because there's a lot of inflammation with real Sustanon.
Yeah, inflammation. Yeah.
But mixing like a test Cypionate or an Ente with test probe, I do a lot, and it does well with me. It does very well. But I really like this cycle, man. Like 400 tren, 300 primo, and then like a tiny bit of Superdrol where it's not really going to fucking fuck you up too bad, but it's going to give you enough strength in the gym, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I wonder why use 15 milligrams of Superdrol pre-workout every workout for the first 4 weeks? Why not switch that out with Anavar on the less important workouts? So you have less liver taxation, less tachyphylaxis to the Superdrol drug, right? If you say you took 3 days a week Anavar and 2 days a week Superdrol.
Well, it depends because Superdrol is very toxic, right? But it's a lot more anabolic, obviously, than Anavar.
Yeah. But for strength gains, I mean.
Oh, dude, for strength gains, Superdrol the shits on Anavar.
No, I mean, I know it shits on it, but Anavar is the safest strength-gaining oral steroid other than, I guess, Turinabol, which I don't know.
So I'll be honest, dude. I've trained like 500 people in my lifetime, and I've probably had 5 people ever run Superdrol. Only 5 out of like 500. And that's only because they asked me like, hey, I have Superdrol in hand. I want to use it. Can we add it? And I'm like, sure. I have, on the other hand, I've used injectable Superdrol quite a bit, and I really like that.
How does it compare to injectable Anadrol?
It doesn't fuck me up. It doesn't fuck with my digestion, and it doesn't fucking kill my appetite, and I get really good fullness and strength on it.
Interesting. All right, we'll go to the next one. Badr al-Nimr, who's from my home country of the UAE. His last name means the lion. The tiger. And his first name means... It was related to the moon. It's a cool name. Sounds like a warrior from an ancient century. Anyway, so he has a 10-week cycle. Weeks 1 through 5 are 200 milligrams test prop per week, 15 milligrams LGD, and 15 milligrams of MK677 oral. And then weeks 6 through 10, the next 5 weeks, he keeps the test the same at 200 milligrams, and he switches the SARMs into S23 and YK11. And he then takes 2 units of GH 6 days per week in the last 5 weeks. I think that means the last 5 weeks, the GH, because he repeated the test prop. Do you want to start or should I start?
Let's see what you think about this.
Well, first, I talked to him privately about it. He texted me about it. I mean, I think I was suggesting something else, but I think if you have HCG in and you're already getting your normal testosterone level, then maybe adding 200 milligrams of test prop would be fun. I don't know that much about LGD. I was actually going to be trialing it myself. It's quite liver toxic. I don't know if it would be the best liver toxic oral to use overall, and I don't know if it's superior to Anavar, honestly. And then the MK677, there are, I think, no studies that use less than 25 milligrams in human studies. So I don't know if it's an effective dose or not. I know 20 is. but I'm not sure 15 is like ideal. And then the S23 and YK11, I don't know anything about them. And then the growth hormone, I just don't see why you would use it for 5 weeks. You either use growth hormone or you don't. And if you do, it takes months to get lots of benefits from it. Maybe you do it every other day for the whole 10 weeks instead of doing it every day for 6 weeks. Or for five weeks, sorry. What do you think, Boston?
So do you know if this guy's ever ran a cycle before, or is this his first cycle?
He has, but he's not like, he's not running one currently, and I think he hasn't run heavy ones.
Okay, so I've had a couple people run the LGD 4033 with good results. I agree with you on the MK677. So what I would do with the MK677, and I would only do 25 mgs, but I wouldn't do it every day. I would do it like 4 times a week max at 25 milligrams.
That's what I was thinking, to take the MK every other day and the growth hormone every other day.
Yeah, you'd be better doing 25 mgs MK every other day.
Yeah. So, by the way, what does LGD feel like? What is it? Have you tried it?
They said it's similar to Anadrol.
What? Really? But they said not the strength gains, though.
There's this source that sells LGD. I'm not kidding you. I've had clients use it from this source, and they literally respond like it's Anadrol. I think they put steroids in them.
That's probably it, I think.
Okay. They lost their appetite. They got strong, dude. I think it's Anadrol. I think a lot of these people just put Anadrol in them.
Derek tells me it doesn't get you strong, so I think I doubt that happens. But Seth Condit says 39 years old, 5'8", 190 pounds, 15% body fat. He says it's his first cycle. He wants to do 16 weeks of 250 milligrams of test per week. We were just talking about this last week, so it's interesting. Mastron at 400 milligrams per week, 2 units of growth hormone a day, and 500 milligrams of metformin. Do you want to start on this, or should I?
Yeah, we have a lot of guys on the channel that they love this low testosterone. I don't know where is this like a new era?
I don't know when this started, bro. When did this start? We used to have the 500 milligram one. Who started this 200 shit?
Dude, I think it might have been Broderick, dude. I think so. I'm not kidding you, man. Ever since that guy we did that podcast, everyone wants to run like a CC a test a week.
I mean, there are these people and creating new trends or whatever. Look, I don't know. Maybe you're a guy that doesn't metabolize drugs, so you inject 250, it just stays in you for 50 days. I don't know. But unless you're that guy, shutting down your own testosterone to inject 250 just feels weird to me, especially when you add the Mastron on top of it. It's like you're trying to you're using a lot of Mastron comparatively. You're trying to get rid of all of that aromatization, I guess, of the testosterone. I mean, just if you wanted to do that, why not just run Primo with HCG? You know?
Yeah, they should just bring the testosterone to 500 mgs. So 500 testosterone, 400 Mastron with 2 IUs of growth. And I mean, the metformin, I only use that in certain occasions, so I would have to know more. Like, is that sustained release or is that fast release?
I'm assuming he's thinking I'm going to get insulin insensitive from the GH. I'm going to use metformin along with it, because a lot of people combine those two together these days, which may work. I don't know how well it works.
Yeah, but 2 IUs, I don't think 2 IUs are really going to raise your blood sugar that much.
Not that much, especially if you don't do it every day. I don't think I would rather do 4 units every other day than 2 units a day at the moment. This is my thoughts right now. From this
cycle growth hormone, for instance, I'll have them do 6 weeks at like 5 IUs post workout, and then the next 6 weeks I'll have them do it before bed, and then the next 6 weeks I'll do it in the morning. I like to switch things up like that.
So let's talk to Seth seriously. Seriously, Seth, if I were you, honestly, first of all, I would consider the health effects of what I'm doing. If you are willing to potentially affect your health, I would have included here not just metformin, but a blood pressure medication, an adrenaline blocker, empagliflozin, a few other things, more than metformin, to be honest. And second of all, I would then consider, why am I shutting off my gonadal production for 250 milligrams a week? Is it worth it? It's not. So use HCG and maybe combined with 500 milligrams of test, or if you don't want any estrogenic effects, you could use HCG and 600 milligrams of Primo or something like that with 200 milligrams of testosterone. You know what I mean? What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you completely, man. Like, I don't get this whole 250 test shit. Like,
I don't understand.
If you're on a cruise and you're trying to clean out, sure, but this, no way. So
Gigio Mika from Italy, he says he rated the following cycle to restart after a few years off. Goal is lean bulk. Cheers from Italy. You should tell us where you're from in Italy. We're very interested in Italy. Okay, weeks 1 through 16, 500 milligrams test, 300. That's a reasonable ratio, I think.
Yeah,
And
but
then
why does he do that shit for 16 weeks? Jesus.
he's just this is a series. This is like a half year cycle. So weeks 1 through 4 use methyltren 20 milligrams a day. Not sure what oral to add. Only the last 4 weeks. So the first month he has an oral, and the last month he has an oral. There's 4 months, and he doesn't know which one to add the last month. So
Trend, that's a terrible option. Fuck.
is that oral? I thought that was injectable.
Methyltren is an oral, and that's a lot, dude.
Really?
20 mgs of methyltren. Fuck, dude.
I had no idea methyltren was an oral this whole time.
Dude, that shit at 20 mgs a day, this dude's gonna be fucked up.
Methylated trenbolone sounds horrendous. It sounds very aggressive.
That's a lot, dude. That's a fuckload of. For instance, like they have methyltren injectable, Leo, but I only take like 1 or 2 milligrams pre-workout. This dude's taking 20 mgs orally. He's fucking nuts.
So my first thoughts are, I feel like relying on orals, unless you have a reason to rely on them, I don't think there's a specific, like if you want an immediate acute effect, you can inject TNE, injectable testosterone, an hour before you work out, an hour and a half, works just as well as a pick-me-up for the workout. Or you could use Anavar, which is really, it is hepatotoxic, but less so. Or you could use Turinabol, which I've never used. I don't know much about, to be honest. But I feel like using only 500 milligrams of test and 300 milligrams of Mastron, and then wanting to use orals for 8 weeks, 4 weeks straight, and then another 4 weeks straight, I think that's like misprioritizing your... Like, why wouldn't you add 300 milligrams of Deca there? Or...
Well, what I would do is, I would do it, wait weeks 1 through 8, 500 tests, 300 primo, and then weeks 9 through 16 replace the Mastron with like primo.
Yeah, but also you're still missing, you're not hitting a lot of different, like there are a lot of different pathways. There's no like Anavar, there's nothing that acutely makes someone stronger other than the methyltren. Like there's something like he could use Anavar or Winstrol or something like that, and then he's not getting anything progestogenic. So, and the injectable dose overall is low, I think, compared to the oral. But don't you think he shouldn't run an oral 4 weeks straight and then wait 8 weeks and then do another 4 weeks straight?
You should just run the Anavar the first like 6 weeks.
Yeah, personally, I'd look for something sustainable. So I'd try to like use Anavar twice a week in the beginning and Anadrol once or methyltren once, and then eventually build it up to 5 days a week toward the end. And I'd want to include other injectables. Mastron has no growth potential. So I don't know. I know bodybuilders, you guys love it because you like to look good, but it's not going to do anything for you 2 years from now, right, Boston?
I agree. It's not anabolic.
It's not going to build something, right? Yeah, exactly.
It's not that anabolic. But I will say though, Masteron in the last few weeks, when you're already lean, definitely gives you a nice polished look.
Yeah, of course. It's great for the acute sense, but long. So Brester says, what's your opinion on this cycle? 500 test, 350 NPP, 400 EQ, and 6 units on training days. Or should I do 750 test, 500 NPP, and drop the EQ? I think the first one is great. What do you think?
I like the first cycle better, yeah.
See, that's a cycle where you're getting different things, and we don't know exactly what EQ does, but we know MPP does something very different than testosterone on some receptors, like progesterone specifically. And I love the fact that he's taking the growth hormone on training days only.
I like this cycle, dude. This is something that I've designed for people before, yeah.
Exactly, that's what I thought. That was a cool one. Okay.